We are live once again. Let me see if I can get this chat up. We're trying something different again today. So there's like 2 or 3 different streams on YouTube happening right now. Not sure how that happened. Probably my fault, just being honest. I be doing a lot in the mornings, trying to get things together. My transitions ain't working. Ain't nothing working right now. But that doesn't mean that there's not a purge to be had. So special thanks to Albon and Purple Groovy stopping in nice and early, making sure that we don't have no craziness going on. If either one of y'all sees another stream, if there's some chats coming up on there, let me know, because I'm sure I'm going to miss something today. But what you can't miss is this episode. So if you're just stepping into this show, this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit the notifications, and make sure you come back for the next show. Simple as that. Now, let me get some light on me, because y'all got to see me. Y'all got to see me. Hold up. There we go. All right, y'all look good? Look good? All right. So today, as usual, we must purge. But before we purge, I must give them the disclaimer. So, let's see what we got here. Let's see if it actually works, is really the question. Let's see if it actually works. Let's try it out.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
All right, I think that's it. It's a little choppy, but we're going to see how this goes. We are going to see how this goes today. So thank y'all for stopping into another purge of the BS. We're going to get this thing started. This gong is for you. All right, y'all. Well, let's see what we got. All right, well, today we are going to unpack a few things. This is a Law and Disorder episode. So as we are growing and changing up certain things on the channel, things are getting scheduled. We got some powerful shows coming up for the Saturday shows and the Sunday shows as well, which are evening shows. Daytime shows, of course, more news-based, a little less profanity, no nudity, of course, because I like to keep my clothes on, all right? Just playing. Don't come back here on Saturday thinking you're going to see me butt naked. It won't happen, okay? I'm just going to let you know now. You'll be disappointed if that's what you're coming to see. So, nonetheless, today we're going to start with a story that basically is a follow-up to the show we did, I want to say Sunday. This is our Sunday show regarding the case with the Hinton, the kid named Hinton who got unalived by the police after he was running from them with a weapon on him. Things are starting to build up a little bit. So the family decided to come out and give a press conference. And so I am going to go over said family press conference just for a moment to get us started, because it's a follow-up to a story we already did. And to a degree, I appreciate
younger ones.
Some of the stuff that was said here. We're going to have to jump through it because, as usual, it's a little long-winded. So give me a second here to line everything back up. Close this out and bring this over. Oh, and if you didn't know, for anybody that cares, today is apparently Sigmund Freud's birthday. So if you're a Freudian, if you're a Freud follower, happy Sigmund Day to you. Sigmund Freud had a particular quote that I always wondered about. And the quote that he had was, America is like a gigantic disaster. It was pretty weird that he said it, but I always wondered, like, what did he mean by that? And how did he know that? I don't know. I still don't know. But For some reason, he thought that America was a huge disaster. And this was, what, 1930s or something? He's from Austria. You know what he knew about America. But nonetheless, let's get some stuff going over here. For my Freudians, no Freudian slips today. Yeah, we got 4 different streams going on right now. They did an update to the broadcasting software that I use, and it knocked out a couple of plugins, added a few other things. The stuff is just kind of all over the place right now. So because I had multi-streaming enabled before, it doubled all of that up. And so now there's a bunch of streams. I don't know who's here, who's not. I'm going to just look at my multi-chat on here. If I miss you on one of them other streams, if you don't see Al Bond and Purple Groovy on the stream that you're on the wrong stream. I'll just put it that way. That's what we're going to do there. So nonetheless, to follow up on this story, so the family of, I think his name was Ray Hinton. I believe it was. It really doesn't matter right now because it was about the conversation that's being had. And I do appreciate these folks kind of trying to, it looks like they're trying to make sure that people don't start getting violent. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what they got here. Let me move this around. All right, y'all can see that, right? Yeah, y'all can see it.
Of their son, Ryan.
All right, it was Ryan, not Roy. I said Roy. It was Ryan Hinton was the one that was shot. So this guy in the middle, he's the family attorney or the attorney for the estate of the young man, which is interesting that he had an estate if he was stealing cars and, you know, that kind of stuff, running around with guns. But whatever. You can have an estate. There's nothing wrong with that. Over here to the right, if you can see, is the the grandfather of the guy that was shot, and also the father of, I believe, the guy that ran over the police. So let's hear what they have to say for a couple minutes. I'm going to speed it up a little bit just because it's a really long video. I haven't seen it, but it's like 20 minutes long. I don't have 20 minutes for this. I just want to see what they're talking about. So let's see what they got.
This family is very upset about what occurred. Kind of walking you through what happened is on Friday morning, we met with the police chief of Cincinnati, and we viewed the body cam video of what happened with the police-involved shooting with Ryan. We stayed at the chief's office for about an hour and a half, and what we saw was disturbing. The family was upset, as you can imagine, watching your son, watching your grandson, watching your loved one getting shot and killed by the police was upsetting to this family. We left out of the police chief's office, and a few hours later, I was made aware that Rodney had an incident with a police officer that resulted in the officer's death. But again, we are here because we represent the estate and the police-involved shooting. We're trying to get the family some answers as it relates to what happened with that shooting. We're not here at this point to make any specific allegations, to make any specific determinations as it relates to that police-involved shooting. We are here and we're retained to investigate that shooting. So we'll take any questions.
How will that proceed? What will that look like? Will we be reviewing the body camera footage frame by frame, or talking about the process?
Absolutely. We only saw one angle. We only saw, I believe it was the shooter's body cam. So we requested the records, we requested all the other body cams, we requested the reports, we did the ordinary public records request so that we can really analyze what occurred. I mean, what we saw in the video, it's hard to determine whether or not that officer was in imminent danger or should have thought that they were in imminent danger before they took shots. So we are specifically investigating, that part of this entire tragic situation.
Mr. Wright, to the person who says Ryan was in a stolen car, had a firearm, according to detectives, and this is what happened, what do you say to that person?
That's correct, but being in a stolen car, having a firearms, we're in Ohio, so you can open carry in Ohio. So that's not a death penalty. Being in a stolen car, having a gun, that doesn't mean that you should be shot and killed.
Just to be clear, are you disputing any of the comments we've heard from the chief, any of the facts that she
laid out in that press conference?
Well, I'm not familiar specifically of what facts you are indicating. However, we believe that that this incident should be investigated. It's not as cut and dry as this officer should have just pulled out his gun and shot at Ryan. It's not that cut and dry. So that's why we're doing the records request. We're going to.
It was just us, man.
How did you get the news?
Oh my God.
Crazy. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, and this is.
Let me pause this because I don't know what the hell just happened. What is this? What is this? I hope this is working.
This is grandfather.
Hold up. Rodney Hinton Sr. I want to give a condolence out to the officers that got killed. My whole family. I'm asking for forgiveness, and I've been praying hard for the officer that killed my grandson. I've been praying hard for him and his family because I know he's hurting off this. As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened. So that's all I seen. It was like, I didn't see the police there try to kill. No. What I seen was two persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen. So it's not about revenge or anything. I have nothing against nobody. You know, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, and I represent him. So, with that said, please, everybody, just try to forgive everybody who done anything to anybody.
Mr. Hinton, for you, this is a fact-finding mission more than anything to make sure you understand.
Yes, a
exactly
peace
what
thing for me, for everything, for everybody to heal off this. I want everybody to heal off this. You know, it's like a mistake. I really feel bad for the officer who was shooting because I can see the scaredness in him too. People can't see it because I'm going spiritual with this now. So I was able to see that God had allowed me to see this part of the accident. You know, just like my son made an accident too. So he made an accident. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just trying
He
to
made
just
an
move on
accident.
now. That's all I'm trying to do on. And I'm praying for the officer and their family. You know.
And so how hard has this been for your entire family
Hard on my side. I know it's been hard on Tori because me and Tori, you know, we and her is so tight. We were born on the same day. So God, it's crucial how me and her have end up to explain this now. We born on the same day but different years. You know what I'm saying? So all this was building up to this point. But I was trying to I have to bring the peace to this. There's no violence in this, no revenge.
You're aware there's social media chatter that people in the community might feel a different way?
We haven't been on it at all. I'm being no social media. I don't do no Facebook, nothing. I just rely on the power of God. That's it.
It seems like there's
That's admirable.
some of those posts. Do you have like a calming message for those who are concerned over the shooting?
Long live Ryan. Long live Ryan.
Ryan is
I want to say
no
out
longer
to the
alive,
media
so I don't
and
know
the
if you
social
do a
media.
long live.
My name is Tanya Lark,
okay.
and I am Ryan's grandmother.
What is long live Ryan?
Ryan was a sweet, gentle giant that played with everybody.
Are we talking about the kid that stole the car or was in the stolen car with the guns? He's the great guy. Okay. You know, they always come out and say he was an awesome kid and so on and so forth, which I guess the family should do because that is their family member. So, of course, they should have a positive outlook on that family member. To a degree, I agree with the fact that they do that. But it's always hard for me to think that this was the best guy just because grandma said so. Grandma always gonna love you, just like mama. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, they always say he was a good boy, never hurt nobody, but he had extendo mags, guns, and stolen cars. So,
All the time. You see all the younger ones? That was a PlayStation buddy. He made it a point to make sure that he played with each and every last one of them whenever he was around them. He included them in the game process. He taught each one of them how to play the game. We are very close family. This is killing us. I can't even express how I feel right now about, I'm angry because it shouldn't have never happened. I want to find out exactly what steps was taken and the protocol. And if everything comes out that it's not what it should have been, we need to do something about change in training and diversity and understanding us as a black culture. we as black people, we don't deserve to be killed just because we're running away from the police. We're scared just as much as they are.
That is true.
Whether we did something right or wrong. This is everyday life for us, being scared of the police. Take that in consideration while everybody is making comments on the parent should have did this and the parent should have did
Okay,
that.
Okay, come on. Because I ain't worried about it.
What's your name?
I mean, to a degree, when people make the statement, look, it's not disingenuous, guys. It's not a lie. If something happens and there's a lot of people involved, then there's a lot of different angles that we need to be exploring as far as what could have prevented it. So there could be additional police training. There could have been, there's a few things that could have happened. But at the end of the day, like I said in the previous episode, training that one officer or, admonishing that one officer doesn't change that culture. And the officers felt pretty comfortable with shooting at somebody because they thought they were armed. I saw the body cam for what you could see. Like the lawyer said, they need to get a couple other angles because what the police chief said versus what I saw, I didn't line up. It didn't line up, y'all. I'm just being honest. So I do want to see the other body cam footage because I believe that the kid threw the gun when the cop said he had it. And that's how it ended up 10 to 15 feet away from where he got shot. Because without that, what did he get shot, lay down, and then throw this thing 10 feet away? I don't think so. It doesn't make sense to me. So we're going to see what comes up, but I don't think that, Grandma was right in one thing, but let's not just forget about the fact that we do have, because she was like, I don't like people saying what the parents, well, yes, parents have a responsibility to raise their children right. And if your kids end up in a pretty bad situation, to a degree, as a parent, you should be responsible for that. Your kids should either know not to be there, or you should be the one that's got them doing something else that doesn't have them in that situation. We can only keep our kids out of the location. I cannot control all these police officers. I can't. I don't know them. They're not friends of mine. We don't play spades on a weekend. So all we can do is keep our kids out of that location and out of that situation. I think that, like they keep saying, yes, there was a lot of accidents, a lot of people were scared, but if he wasn't there in the first place, then this scared ass cop wouldn't have been shooting at him. So our duty as the public is to make sure our kids are not in that location or situation. That's the best I can tell you on this. But so far, Grandma started going in on the police and all that. But Grandma, are you running from the police, Grandma, when you see them? No. Because you don't have stolen property on you and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying he was supposed to get unalived. What I'm saying is the situation presented itself because of what had preceded it. And so they knew these guys had weapons because they knew weapons were stolen. So they're now considered armed and dangerous. The second one cop yells, gun, gun, gun. Everybody knows that phrase doesn't mean look out, the person has a gun. It means shoot the next time you see them. Gun, gun, gun means shoot in police language. From what I've seen, every video I've seen where somebody says gun, 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 somebody gets shot. Even if they don't have the gun out or it's just in their waistband and the police are like wrestling them to the ground or whatever it is, they get shot. So, concealed carry, open carry, I guess that's fine if the officers are okay with it. But the second they yell gun, 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 you see what happens. Everybody's seen it. There's two phrases that when you hear them, it's about to be a problem. One is gun, gun, gun. And number two, y'all think about it. Stop resisting. That one. Stop resisting. Stop. The person don't even be resisting. They just beating the hell out of them, talk about stop resisting. And then because they've said that, they can get you on resisting the police. So let's see what we got here. I think this is his cousin or something like that.
My name's Marlon. I'm Ryan's cousin.
Yeah.
My condolences to everybody involved in this. I just want to say, Ryan, I'm so sorry. God, please watch over the rest of my family. I want to address all the negativity and saying he was something being a stolen car, this and that. Listen, he was supposed to be at home that night and shit. Let me get this out.
Did he cuss on the news?
He had no business being in a stolen car, man. He had a bed to come home to. He slept in a car. He couldn't get in the house. All right. He called me like 6-9 times. like 12, like between 12 and 1. Called me trying to get in. Text me. And I was asleep. Ryan, I'm so sorry. This was never supposed to happen to you. Ever. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Just know he wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be there.
Well, that goes along with what I was saying. Location. He wasn't supposed to be there. But let's dissect this. Let's unball it real quick. So he said Ryan was calling because he couldn't get in the house at 12 o'clock or whatever in the morning. And so he went and slept in this car with his friends, I guess. I don't know. Why wouldn't they let him in the house? Like when I was 18 years old, I still lived at home because I was in college at the time. But let's just say I was still living at home, right? If I came and knocked on the door and nobody opened up the door for me, there's probably some reason behind that. And if I start calling the occupants of the house and they're not answering my call, there's normally some reason for that. So for whatever reason, they didn't want him in that house. That's the honest truth. I don't know what that was. It really may not matter much, but let's just be honest. Maybe they knew he was up to something and they didn't want him in the house. I don't know. But if you live somewhere, you don't have a key, nobody's expecting you to be home. I don't know. I feel for this guy though. I feel for the cousin. You know, Ryan shouldn't have been there. I should have picked up the phone. Okay. But none of this would be going on if the foundation of everything was proper and correct. I was watching an interview the other day with the Doge guys, the Dogians, the little young kids they got that Elon got. I bet them kids ain't running around stealing cars and running around with guns and probably don't have an issue getting in the house at night because their family probably wants them to be there. And so after the fact, now you're like, he shouldn't have been there. I should have let him in the house. But during that time, you didn't want him around for some reason, which to me is kind of a red flag. Like, well, what was really going on? But I'm sure in the future we'll get to that. But just for right now, the family is mourning. They did lose someone, and I do feel for that.
He tripped and fell. He must have been so scared.
Of course he was scared.
Sorry, Ryan. Just that, like everybody just talking shit about him. Just know he wasn't supposed to be there, y'all. I'm sorry.
They definitely didn't edit this video.
Is there a possibility of litigation, or just help people understand what could be down the road?
Well, again, we're investigating. When we get all the information that we've requested, then we'll make a determination as to next steps. We have to analyze all of the information we receive, all the body cams, all the different angles, and then we'll make a determination as to what next steps are.
All right, hold on. You're the lawyer for the estate. That means you're supposed to be dealing with the financials for the estate, not necessarily a prosecutor or a Ben Crumpish, or at least that's not what he said. He said he was a lawyer for the estate, but he's talking about body cams and all that. What does it have to do with if you have an estate and you've passed away, the method in which you were, you met your demise really doesn't matter to the estate because you're not there. And so whatever the wishes are of the estate is what this person is supposed to be taking care of. So not really sure about this one. I don't know. I already told you I was waiting on Ben Crump or somebody to come through, but we got a new guy. We got this guy with his head is so round. He got a big brain up there. They better watch out because whatever he's planning on, he's waiting on body cam for. And like I said, that's not an estate lawyer. State lawyers don't do stuff like that. He's working on something. But I do want to focus on the fact that the father, well, the grandfather of the child that was unalived, he called for nonviolence. And the family seems to be upset that some people are taking the angle, kind of similar to what I'm taking, saying, we're sad that you lost somebody, but we got to keep our kids out of that situation. He should have never been there. His life led him there. Whatever was going on in life, the steps that he took the day before, a week before, it put him in this position to where he's sleeping in the back of a parking lot in a stolen car with a couple other people with guns and all types of stuff. Like if you're 18 and you got a couple dollars, you could just go get a hotel and sleep in there if you want to sleep somewhere. You don't want to sleep in no hot ass car like that. That's dangerous. So it's like I said, I feel for the loss, but we have to be real here. The only thing that we can focus on is making this a learning situation for other kids. There is some scared police officers out there with guns, and if you running from them and you got guns on you and stuff like that, they may unalive you. And according to the police chief, it's justified. So that's where the problem's going to be. So we'll see if they ever press any charges, or I don't think they will. I think this is going to be one of those. Now, here's the problem. If they find out that they lied on that body cam, about that body cam, that could be a problem. And special shouts, what's that? Brandon W. stopping into the chat there. Special shouts to you for stopping in. Make sure that you hit that like button as well. But nonetheless, so I'll give it 2 more minutes and then I'm done with this story.
Whether that's filing lawsuit, whether that's litigation, I don't know at this point. But it's an ongoing investigation, and we will, once we get all the information, we'll then make a determination.
Just to clarify, I just want to ask, pain that your family is feeling is clear right now, but in that statement, you made a point to notice and acknowledge the pain that the family of the fallen deputy is feeling as well. What was in your heart when you did that? Why did you find the need to acknowledge your pain as well?
Well, reason why,
Shouts to Dovak Iron Fire stopping in the chat as well.
so naturally, for me, when this happened, I'm devastated because my grandson was with me the whole winter. So, when he goes back, he go back with his mama through the summer, and he got killed. So it was very devastating to us. Kind of a lot of anger feelings at
Go
first.
back to his mama, but was with me. So his father may not have lived with him full time. So the father did crash out over this, but it looks like this is the grandfather on the mother's side. Or maybe not. Doesn't matter. The whole point is, instead of spending the summer with dad, you spend summer with granddad, and then you go back to your mom. So I'm not really sure how involved this father was, and maybe he was feeling a certain type of way because he wasn't fully involved, and that's why he crashed out once this child was unalived. I'll be honest with you, depending on what the situation is, he could have been totally uninvolved in this kid's life. And I would venture to say to some degree there may have been some of that. Maybe. But I just, like I said, I appreciate and respect the grandfather. He's calling for nonviolence. He said there was a lot of scared people. There was accidents that happened. People were accidentally doing things. So it doesn't seem like he's laying blame on the police specifically, and it doesn't seem like he's laying blame just on his family members. It's like he's saying the same thing I'm saying. There are accountabilities all around that need to be dealt with. But for us as a community, if we do not want our 18-year-old children to be unalived by scared police who are chasing after them, what we have to do is make sure that they're not in those situations in the first place. That's the only way out of that. You can't train that away. You don't know the history of these cops. You don't know some of these guys were bullied in high school. You don't know. So the best way to stay out of it is to stay away from it. That's why we try to lead these kids in the right direction. That's what at least I do. I had my time. I've done some time. So you don't believe me, you can ask about me. I do have that on my record. But I also realized that was a waste of my damn time going and sitting in the jail. And I lost a lot in that time. Fortunately, I was able to make a comeback because I was educated. So that's why I'm always focusing on education, because education can beat out your criminal record. If you really know something, you got a really good skill, if you're into technology or you're great at math or whatever it is, your education is what you have to use to combat your negative record if you have a criminal record. Just telling. And if you have any other type of issue, an ailment, if you have a disability or something, like you're autistic or something, but you're like a savant, right? You'll still be okay out here, but it's what you know. And what I do know is nobody should have been in that situation. That officer shouldn't have been shooting at people just because somebody said there was a gun. He never actually, I didn't see it get pointed at him. Not saying that it wasn't a high stakes situation. People are armed, they're running, a lot of adrenaline going. But I feel like the grandfather, there was mistakes made all around, and people, let's not go into a whole violence and try a whole new George Floyd situation. Let's let the legal system deal with it. But I'm telling you, you're going to find out the kid didn't point the gun at him. He was running with it. That's true. But he definitely didn't fire at an officer or any officers. So even if he had it in his hand, he wasn't using it. So that makes it a lot tougher to say that this officer was under fearing for his life and imminent danger. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, as a father and a grandfather, so I can identify with a number of people in this video, my children, I've never gotten that call. I got a number of kids. I've never once gotten no call from the police about my kids. I got a call from the school because they might have gotten in a fight at the school or something happened at school, but I have never. And I got kids that are now through college and have their own kids. That's why I said I'm a grandfather too. None of them, do you understand what I'm saying? Not a one did I ever get a call from the damn police talking about, we're looking for your son because he stole a car. We're looking for your son because we found out he stole some guns. We're looking for your son because we found out not once. And you know why that was? Because when they were born, I said, my kids ain't going to be in that situation. And I stuck to that. And it worked out. But that's because me as a father, the second I saw that small baby, I said, I am not going to be one of these families on these damn TV shows mourning about my kid who was out there doing dirt and trying to make him look like a good boy. I'm going to just make a good kid. And then I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And I present this to anybody that comes through this show. As a parent, I know a lot of fathers. You know, I have a younger child who I'm constantly trying to stay in contact with because I got issues with his mother, but he's growing up and things are getting better. But I don't want him to end up on this kind of stuff. So I'm doing everything I can, even though I have to deal with somebody I cannot stand, minimally. You know, I deal with that person as little as I possibly can. But there is a need for me to be in my son's life. So I have to sacrifice my peace. And I don't mean that he's the one that goes against the peace, but some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I got to sacrifice my peace because I want to be part of my son's life. Like, I literally get attacked for that by other parties. And I'm not the only one. I represent a certain group of guys. You know how they say the guys that actually want to be in their kids' lives always get the worst baby mamas, that kind of thing. I kind of got that situation. But I guess if I didn't want to be there, it probably wouldn't be an issue. And he would still be a crash out. So either way, you got a responsibility, man, as a parent. I'm not trying to hear the police are all just killing black people every day. Because to be honest with you, we are more susceptible to killing each other than we are to being off by the police. Let's just be real about that. We are way more inclined to take our own people out than worrying about the police. The police are not coming down the street in my neighborhood randomly shooting black people. I've never seen it. Maybe that happened in Jim Crow time or whenever the hell that was. But guess what? Today is 2025 and they don't do that. So if your kids are getting shot at, a lot of times it's because they're in the wrong location. So fathers, specifically fathers, not taken away from mothers, but guess what? I've never been one. But I can speak from fathers. We got a job to do. And I don't care how much you can't stand that woman that you made that child with. At the time you made the child with her, you could stand her enough to lay her down. You see what I'm saying? Your responsibility isn't to that woman, it's to that child. And a lot of times we get so caught up in the fact that we don't like the other parent or how the other parent dealing with us that we just cut the child off. And I've seen a lot of guys do this, and I understand it. It's for your peace. But then when that kid goes crashing out and that kid passes away or gets locked up, you're going to still be a sad dad. So instead of letting that happen, just so you can prove the point that this woman couldn't raise the kid right, or you want to go with the same statistics of single mothers this, single mothers that, so you can make a talking point, but meanwhile your kid is the sacrifice, it's not worth it to me. I know what the real is. The world knows what the real is. If you raise your kids right, 99% of the time they won't be in situations where the police are shooting at them. I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule. I'm sure you can pull one up. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of them where the police roll up and somebody has like a cell phone in their hand or whatever. But meanwhile, they were breaking into somebody's house too. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I get that he didn't have a gun, but you were breaking into somebody's house. So we don't know what you got. And the officers are scared. They're trying to get home to their family, and they're snap judging and trigger happy, some of them. I know a lot of good police. I'm going to be honest with you. I have a lot of very good police friends who they ain't in no scandals. They ain't in no officer-involved shootings of unarmed people. So I know to a degree that there are officers who are able to draw their weapon and not kill somebody. That's a training issue. But that has nothing to do with the community that puts the targets in front of these officers. So let's stop giving them targets to shoot at, and then we won't be having these damn press conferences. But like I said, with all due respect, sorry for the loss of whomever was lost, especially the guy that was totally innocent, the officer that got run over. He didn't even know what was going on. He was a retired deputy that came back to do traffic control for graduation. He had nothing to do with what happened to that man's son. And yet now he is, that's it. It just sucks. I'm sorry. So anyway, let me get back to my situation. But yeah, I'm through with these guys. I'm done with them. I'm good with that. So let's get back to what we're talking about here. Why is my transition not running? Whatever. One of them days. Like I said, I just upgraded some software and everything went weird, but I had to be here for my people today. I only had a couple of stories to cover anyway, so we're going to get this going and get this done. The secondary story, like I said, people ask why I stopped doing the law and disorder segments. Because there was a couple, when we first started the show, we had these different segments. We had law and disorder, we had baddie in the bright lights, we had whose man's is this, bad ideas make good stories. That's how the show started. So some of these things people have said, hey, why don't you do that segment anymore? I used to like that segment. So what I'm going to do is split those segments up throughout the week so that the people that like certain things, they can come in on certain days. And, so Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to do a law and disorder because that was the one that was actually getting the most views on this channel was when we were going over topics like this. So we're going to go in and do that. It's not always going to be all about Trump and Democrats and Republicans because truth be told, they are a very small fragment of what's actually going on. Trump be doing stuff, though. Don't get it twisted. But this other story came to me. And this is, this is another one of, I don't want to say the usual suspects, but basically a guy. Hold on. Sorry. I got the sound a little too loud there. But basically, so a guy unalived someone else. And then the family came to the court hearing, like I guess for sentencing, and maybe they didn't like the sentence or something, and they start a whole fight in the courtroom, and a bunch of people end up going to jail. I'm sure that didn't help the situation, but I want y'all to see the video that they did here. Bear with me. See if this transition works yet. Well, it's there. Let's see if it actually works. All right, guys, let's try it. That makes the sound. It made the sound. If nothing else, I got the sound. So let me bring this clip over here to you. So nonetheless, it starts with these people fighting and shouts to NBC News for the story.
This fight breaking out during the sentencing phase of a murder trial between members of the victim's family and the defendant's loved one. Punches still flying as the fight grows even bigger, moving into the aisle. Until finally, deputies restore order. Both sides in court to find out how much time Bryce Robinson would spend in jail for shooting and killing Trenjavious Hutton at a mall in 2022.
Didn't I tell you about them names? I keep telling y'all. But anyway, shouts to Rhiannon Large coming in from the UK. Make sure you're sharing this over in the UK. I want some international folks in here so I can get some international experience and some international opinions. I know about America. I live here. But I would love to get some takes from people in the UK. I know we have a couple of folks from Canada as well. So, but anyway,
that murder occurring in broad daylight. At the sentencing hearing, the victim's mother pleading to the judge.
I'm not saying that we innocent, but you know what I'm saying? I hate him, and I hope some bad happens in jail. I hate it. And I think that you should consider, you should give him the back that he can, because evidently he don't care.
Saying her son's killer showed no remorse.
I hate you, and I hope the
Those words starting an argument between people watching.
The apple don't fall too far from the tree, folks. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. This is this kid's mom. Where's his dad? Where's his dad? I don't know if he's in the courtroom. He's probably not with the mother because she seems like she could be a lot to handle. But You see what I'm saying? It's like we keep seeing the same story play out over and over and over and over again. And then everybody's just mad at like the person that's doing stuff. Nah, man, none of y'all families is right. That's why y'all are in court fighting. Meanwhile, this person is going to jail. Like, I don't know how long they got, but they're going to jail. But the mother comes in, she basically makes a victim impact statement, starts cussing, talking about, I hope something bad happened to you, hope you get R-worded, in the jail, you know, like all that kind of stuff. Come on, guys. I'm not saying, you know, don't feel, but let's keep in mind that we represent a community. We represent our family. When you go into court acting like that, they're like, oh, okay, well, we see why your kid was running the streets, because he had your loud ass at home, probably doing some dirt too. I'm just saying, it's never no nice, clean-cut, well-spoken black people. It's always the Negroids, okay? It's always the Negroids. And it's sad because you can't talk to the Negroids. The second you go talk to the Negroids, like, yo, you don't got to do that no more. You don't need to act like that. They will call you soft or you a sellout and all of this. But meanwhile, my kids ain't getting shot. Anyway.
2 people removed at the judge's request. But not before fists started flying. Once court resumed, the convicted killer sentenced to 21 years.
That wasn't enough? I mean, 21 years, PM'd. So he's going to do about 15 years. He'll do about 15 years. So, I mean, I'm sure it's not life in prison. It's not the death penalty, which I'm sure you want when somebody offs your child. But he's going to jail. So why are we fighting in the courtroom? Do you think the judge is going to be like, oh, my God, they're fighting. We're going to sentence this guy to the max life since they're fighting in here. Let's do that. No. Now you're just going to get yourselves locked up, possibly end up in there with a rival member of some other street gang or whatever y'all are doing. Because I hate to say it, but a lot of this stuff is connected to the gang culture that we've been promoting through our music for the last 15, 20 years. And these are the products of it. These are the kids that were born into that world that are now old enough to get locked up, shot up, and dropped. So I can't blame these kids wholeheartedly. Anybody that's 18 to 21, somewhere in there right now, yeah, that's our fault. Them kids our fault. You understand what I'm saying? They acting up, that's our fault. Them kids mobbing and doing all this crazy stuff in the stores and all that kind of stuff, that's us. That's our product. That's what we put out. I'm talking about my age group. You know, I had kids a little early, so I'm a grandfather now, but I'm not over 50. But I have 3 grandchildren. But my kids didn't have kids early. I had kids early. And I learned from my own mistakes and my differences, and I said, let me make sure my kids are a little bit better off than I am when they're coming out of high school and college. And so there you go. But the truth is, and Rihanna Large, you're saying the right thing. We know the black community is not all like this. But the ones that aren't like this don't make the news, man. So the news is all this. You see what I'm saying? This is what everybody who's not black is seeing all the time. So when they see black people that look like these black people, got half their hair and blonde, and they look ratchet, as the word would be, they assume, okay, these must be gang members. And their children are gang members, or at least that's what people think. And it's hard to break the stereotype if all we put on TV is this. But guess what? We wouldn't have this fight to put on TV if people knew how to act. And the reason why they don't know how to act, you saw the boy mother. Come on, man.
Years in prison. Now 6 people involved in the fight charged with
6 people got charged.
Relatives of the victim charged
Look
with
at the mother. Look at the mother. Look at her. She right in the middle of everything, fighting against this other person. Which I understand. If you lost your child, I get it. It's frustrating. I've lost 3 children, not through gun violence, through other causes, but I know what it feels like. But you got to remain, I don't want to say calm, but you got to keep your wits about you, as they would say. I wouldn't be surprised if the mother was one of the 6 people that went to jail, because she's on top of everybody, swinging and punching. Look at her.
And his mother for using, quote, fighting words. Those charged could not immediately be reached for comment and didn't have attorneys listed. Now, as they prepare for their own hearings.
Do y'all see this woman with the baby? There's a woman with a baby, right? There's a baby stroller and an old Caucasian Karen lady right here. I'm not even gonna call her Karen because she might be nice. So we're just gonna say an older white woman right here with a child in a stroller, y'all. Nobody gives a damn about the child in the stroller. Nobody gives a damn about the fact there's like some officers in there. You're going to jail. There's cameras everywhere. Everybody's going to jail. Nope, forget that. We're gonna fight.
It's a protective order in place to try and prevent something like this from happening again.
Thanks for watching. Stay on.
All right. Well, we get it. We get it. So I'm gonna make a quick point here, and I think Rhiannon in the chat there for the good conversation. The truth is, yes, we are represented by a small group of people, but even the larger en masse, and I'm not talking about all black people. I'm just talking about like a certain crew. So there's a crew that's actually just ratchet, just doing too much. There's that group. Then there's the group that like wants to be that. They grow up in decent households, they go to decent schools, but to them life is boring, so they need to, you know, pick it up a notch or kick it up a notch by like getting into stuff. Now, the reason why I can talk about that group is because that's the group I came from. I was bored, so I started doing stuff because I was bored. And then eventually things went to different heights in different ways, and then I got in trouble. So I learned my lesson. Now I don't do that. See what I'm saying? But it was really out of boredom. It wasn't that, you know, like I was in some horrible situation. No, I was just freaking bored. And I was watching stuff on TV, and I was like, you know what? Don't try that. And I didn't have much other to look at. And I was the new version. I'm coming up in the 90s, the 80s and the 90s and all that. Things were different, man. We used to actually fist fight. We used to schedule fist fights. Like we would start talking, all right, well, we got to fight. What time you want to do it? All right, 3:30 p.m. We're going to meet up at the, you know, on the bus stop or whatever, and we're going to get it in. And then we would fight. And I'll tell you what, I got in about 3 fights, I want to say elementary to middle school, and all 3 of those people became friends of mine afterward. Like, we got the fight out the way, fight was over with, we shook hands, nobody was unalived, we moved on with our lives. Now, it don't work like that. Even if you lose the fight, now the person that lose the fight, their pride is so hurt, now they want to go get a gun. We taught them that. I hate to say it, man, because it includes me. My kids may not be the ones doing it, but people my age are the ones that are funneling this out into the community. These are our kids, man. So get your kids, is all I'm saying. So anyway, I'm sorry. It gets crazy out here, but this is what we got, guys. And I'm not trying to come down on the black community specifically. I'm trying to raise that community up. We don't have to be like this, folks. We don't need to be fighting in courtrooms and shooting each other. And we don't have to do that. But if you don't do that, they call you soft. They say you a sellout, or you trying to appropriate for the white man. How about I'm just trying to get my shit together? I ain't never gonna be white. You understand what I'm saying? So I can't do nothing to change the fact that I'm black. But what I can do is change the outcomes of my black family and my black community. So we need to stop with all of that because somebody's not committing crimes every day or they not smoking weed every day. Oh, you trying to appropriate for the white man? Well, maybe, but they seem to have a winning formula over there. Hate to be that guy, but I'm just being honest. All right, so I'm done with these folks. I'm through with these folks. I'm through with them. If y'all want to check on this story, this was a Kansas situation. And so I'm done with them. Next. Boy, Rhiannon, I miss them days when you could just fight, and that was it. That was it. You fought. A couple people might talk about the fight. A couple of folks who was like your friends be like, yo, you almost had him. You almost had him. I seen when you hit him with the uppercut. And then you start working on your form, and then the next time it happens, you're a better fighter. But you live to fight again. You live to see another day. And if your life doesn't mean that much to you, then maybe you don't care to live to see another day, but I know I do. I'm only, you know what's funny about it is, I was talking with my wife the other day, and I was telling her, I said, I realize I'm not afraid of dying, I'm afraid of not living and not finishing what I'm here to do. Like, I don't want to go right now because I'm really just catching the stride and really just getting the stuff, just got my first, a business going. I would hate to leave right now. Even though I'm going to go to heaven and see Jesus and all. No. Can I get a minute, though? Because I need to leave something behind. I can't go right now. I need to leave something behind. So it's crazy for me to think that my fear of death is not where I'm going, but when I'm going. Because I have no doubt where I'm going. It's the when. I'm like, can you give me a minute to finish up a few things before it's my time? Please. I want to leave my legacy. I want to leave some generational wealth. That's what I want to do. I don't want to go early. I don't want to go before I've had a chance to watch my grandchildren graduate from high school and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go for none of that. None of that. But hey, if you're in here, make sure you're hitting that like button. If you want to support the channel, I do allow and like super chats, but YouTube likes to take that money. So you can always utilize Cash App if you want to make sure that our channel gets the full amount. It goes through Freeman Services Group, which is our parent company that actually sponsors this show. So that's Cash App, $ Freeman SVCS. You can see that on the bottom of the screen or at the top of the screen, depending on what you're looking at. So anyway, let's get to the next one because I'm running out of time here. What's the next one? Because we got to get the Diddy situation. We did that. We did that. Okay, so we got one more. Ooh. Okay, we're going to do this one. Because it's in the description. So I got to do this one. It's in the description. All right, guys. I am going to mess y'all heads up real quick. Word to God. I am definitely going to mess y'all's heads up. Oh, no. Bear with me just a moment, please. Uh-oh. Anyway. Sorry. Every time I do a podcast, my phone rings. Phone don't even be ringing like that. Like, nobody really calls me. But every time I'm live, I don't know what that is. Distractions, maybe, but you can't stop me. So whatever. All right, so this next one, you guys are not going to believe this. You're not going to believe it. The police went, now this is not a brand new story, but the guy's in court now. So that's why I was bringing the story up. Basically, the police went to a person's house, right? And you're not going to believe what they discovered. Y'all got to check this out. Now, I will let y'all know in the beginning part of this exactly what is going on. A neighbor heard some screams coming from a particular house. They sent the police over to the house. The police came to check it out, and they were unable to find the person at first, and they ended up coming back later. So
cameras are allowed.
All right. So we got loud music playing, some screams.
Shoot. You told us. Let's go back. Huh? What's his name again? Front door, sorry. He just came to the front door. Did he? Coming. Yes, you can, bro. Yes, no, I talked to your officers coming. I talked to Detective Swift. I only need you in my house, bro. It's a senior guy. He'll be fine. Please. You understand the safety issue of it, right? For a police officer? Right. You know what I mean? Trust me, he's fine. He's a senior guy. Anybody got a lighter? I smoke my nerves. I do, if you do. My nerves are really bad. Let's get out of the rain. I got a lighter.
This cop's being awful nice. Well, he's got to get in the house, though.
No, dude. There's too much going on. No. All right, stand outside. Leave this crack, though, in case you scream.
The basement is empty, but police aren't sold that's the end of this story.
So like I said, a neighbor called because they were hearing somebody screaming from this house. They called the police. They said that somebody was in the basement, trapped in the basement, screaming in the basement. They show up. This guy comes out. He lets them come in. They go in the basement. They don't find nothing.
See you, bro.
And he is high-fiving him. This guy is weird.
No cause. Okay.
I know.
Later that night, a different informant tells a haunting tale about Talante, who she calls Blessed.
So what's going on?
His name is Blessed.
See that, Blessed did his homework and found out that he was trying to set him up. So.
Wait, can you 1 second?
I'm sorry, not fast.
No, you're good.
So freaked out.
Who's Blessed?
Blessed is the one in the house that murdered.
What's he look like?
About 5'3", dark skin. He's the one serving the dope out of there.
Okay.
It's his house. He owns the house. And
All right, so it's a dope house. Okay, all right.
He calls me and said, "How about you come over and talk to you?"
Oh wait, what about? Go back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go back to when he picked up, and you said.
I'm at the house when we see her walking down the street.
Okay.
She gets in the car with him immediately. And they get to the stop sign, her, DJ, and Blessed. I just returned the phone or whatever. And they're like, "Hey, you would ride back?" I'm like, "Sure." But it looked like it was me trying to set him up because they got,
Mm-hmm.
But I guess he did his homework. He's supposedly playing off one of your guys' detectives. And they told him that he was trying to set him up. So, he had him over there yesterday. And his girlfriend, he has a girlfriend named who's a black girl. And they tied her up, stabbed her, beat her, and killed her. He showed me pictures. He made her write 1,000 times, "I am a rat, I am a snitch, I am a rat, I am a snitch."
Okay, so he thinks somebody's snitching on him, and apparently he took out his girlfriend.
Choice. He wants me to paint it tomorrow, and he was telling me everything about my piercing. He said, "I'll show you too." He's like, "It's a little harder." But he literally is a piece of shit. And he took, I guess he put her in the basement. My friend Katie seen her in the basement and called the police. And they said he called the detective. And the detective said, "Well, let them search your basement." So he moved her body from the basement upstairs and let the cops come in and search the basement and left. He stabbed her in her right arm, which is on the picture.
All right.
She's bound up naked. She's naked in front of the fireplace.
And looking for
All right, so anyway, they come back to the house again, and this time they're looking for a body because the lady told them that this guy had stabbed up his girlfriend and that there's a body in the house somewhere. So they come back, and this is what we got.
Hey, did you talk to Detective Smith? He tell you what's going on? Yes. All right, so I appreciate this. Here's a lighter before this. Yeah. You know my name.
He always needs a light. Why you always need a light, bro? You ain't got no light. You selling dope. You can't afford a lighter.
Yeah, I can do that. Is that cool? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Thanks for working with me. All right. Sorry for my late bro. Sorry for my attitude, okay? Give me 5 seconds. Meet me at the back door? Oh, no. All right. Hey, watch your front to see if someone will walk with us first. If that chick's in there, she might be leaving. Doesn't matter, right? It'll be funny if he never comes back and he stole my lighter. Joke's on him.
Blessed.
It's all one room. Yeah. It's all one room.
There's a sheet in the or something.
All right, so they're talking about, they think something's going on. They got to figure out what's going on. All right, let's see what we got here. So they come in the house.
Listen, we're here to look to see for a body. That's it. You give us consent to make sure there's no one laying dead in here?
This is their black screen. That's not me. That's them.
You gonna let him out? Yeah. You take off, man. Let him out. Did you give us consent? Come on, man. I'm gonna walk you up through this.
As the officers search the house, they hear a harrowing sound coming through the walls.
Hey, Purge, come down here a minute.
Come on, man. Get your camera together, broskies.
So what's that noise I keep hearing? That you keep turning music up on my ear side?
I said, what's that noise? That's somebody in the thing.
Is anybody in that apartment? Because I heard voices every time. Who's out there?
What is that?
Can you hear it?
Clint, please. Where you at?
She's under. There's a thing under. Help.
Do you need help?
Did y'all see that?
All right. Clint, please. Sam 24, can you get us another car over here?
This is absolutely nuts, guys. This is nuts right here.
Where you at?
Where you at, man? M35, you can send us Sam 24 numbers.
Hello, 15.
All right, we're looking. Hey, how do you get to her? In the black box?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
He said, oh, God damn it.
I'm paralyzed.
Oh my gosh.
I'm paralyzed.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 60.
6-year-old female. Step up, EMS. Are you injured besides that?
I'm paralyzed.
You're paralyzed.
I'm paralyzed. What's your name?
EMS is en route. Are you cold?
I hurt.
You hurt? All right, we want to get you out of there, but I'm afraid to move you. I'm going to let EMS do all that, okay?
I hurt so bad.
What did he do to you?
He kicked me punches.
He did what?
Kicked me
Hey, Scott, you want fire? Can I at least get her upright?
Y'all see this, right? Let me make sure I got the right screen view here for the folks. Should be it. What's it doing that? I want more. All right, well, y'all can see over here on the side here, for those who are on the vertical feed, there is a person in a tote. These are feet that you're seeing off on the top corner of the screen here. It's the lady's feet. She is stuffed into a storage tote in the person's living room.
She said she's paralyzed. I don't know.
We can find her here.
Are they here?
No, you got no QTA. I mean,
They've been dispatched.
huh?
Did he stab you?
Yeah.
Where are you stabbed, do you think? Your arm? All right. Did he sexually assault you at all?
No.
Okay. Do you know how long you've been here?
No.
Is it just one day?
Yeah.
Delante is taken into custody as the victim is carefully transported to the hospital.
All right, so as you can see, they found not a body. The person was still alive, so that's a good thing. But they found a paralyzed woman folded up and stuffed into a storage container in the living room of this person's house. And they decide to, of course, arrest the guy, because that's what you do. And here is the post interview. And I just want you to understand, this is the stuff that wild ass movies are made out of. Listen to this guy's speech when the officers are questioning him.
That was stupid, but like I wasn't going to kill her. Though. I wasn't going to. I've been beating her, and you know what I'm saying. But I just can't have her out on this. Because I'm working with Detective Smith, trying to get him 10 guns, 5 AKs, 4 Glocks, 3. That's supposed to be going into the valley like next week. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get him who moves 6 ounces a day on coke crack, and I'm trying to get him prescriptions of ounces a day. But like I found out that this is that, and you know what I'm saying? If I was, you found out that the lady that what I was taking care of in my house is a rat, and if she was to get back out on the street, it's closed. You know, if you die, get killed. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm new to it. I understand. I f***ed up. I know I can't get out of this. This is bad. You know what I'm saying? I know it's bad.
Delante recounts the gruesome details of this nightmare like it's just another day.
So yesterday was Tuesday, so she probably got there like Monday or something?
Yeah, Monday she was kicking it, cool, calm, collective, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Eating, lying to me. Like, dude, you tripping, like, what? You know what I'm saying? So that's how that went down, bro. No, I apologize, bro. Okay. But I just ain't trying to die out here in these streets with y'all with these crackheads. Because this is serious. Niggas die. I keep on telling them, like, I need to talk to a corporal. Put me in a room by myself. Like, the way y'all play that, like, it was 50 cars in front of my house. I don't think the streets talk. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Like, so, like, I f***ed up, bro. But, like, I'm new to this. And I feel like my life is in danger, bro. People have tried to kill me 3 times already. You feel? I've been shot in my ass. I don't need my underarm, blood, all type of weird. This shit is crazy.
This dude.
I felt like I was gonna die if I didn't hold her for like Haze and tell her, like, let her know what was going on. Go kill the bitch. If you would have been dead. Long story short, if I wanted to kill her, she would have been dead.
Would you mind walking me through again? I know.
My man said, well, if I wanted to kill her, she would have been dead. So what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, stabbed her. Yeah, put her in the tote. I couldn't have her walking the street telling people I was selling dope. No, we can't have that. No, we're just going to fold the lady up and put her in the tote and have her in the living room there. Probably had a lamp on top of her or something. I don't know. But this dude...
tough right now, and it's a bad time, but like everything that went through, like the time where you were together, like what happened during those days?
Punched on her, slapped on her, till her good. Punched on her, slapped on her, punched on her, slapped on her. Okay. Punched on her, slapped on her, moved her from the basement to another room.
Punched on her, slapped on her, punched on her, slapped on her, moved her around, punched on her, slapped her, stabbed her, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't give a damn. This is a mental sickness, guys. This is mental. What he dealing with, these are the people that we don't need on the streets. Now, I will say this. Somehow he managed to get a house. So I don't know what he was doing other than selling dope. But he was apparently a homeowner. So maybe he inherited the house or what. I don't know. But he was selling dope out of the house that he owned. So somewhere along the lines, he figured out a way to purchase a home. But he seems to have no remorse for this. Now, the problem is, I'm not going to say the problem, but the issue is going to be he didn't actually take this person's life. So it's going to be like kidnapping, what is it, holding it against someone's will. There's a couple of like little smaller charges, but to be honest, the assault, if he stabbed her in the arm and didn't stab her again, it'll be an assault, but not an assault with intent to murder. So that'll be like 5 years right there, something like that. So he may not do that much time in jail for this. That's the part that's kind of crazy. But it's getting to the court hearing now. So I'm going to follow up on him, follow this case to see what kind of time this guy gets. But I just want y'all to see this gentleman because this is who we don't want to raise. We do not want our children to become this guy. You can see in his face he ain't right. You can hear the way he's talking. He ain't right. Now, where did that not right start? I can't tell you. But I can tell you, this man ain't right. Something wrong with him.
Showered her, there was some water, put a blanket over her. I'm just telling you the truth, bro.
No, that's fine.
Was I raping her? No. Okay. Was that what you got?
So I did all this other stuff. I didn't rape her, though. That's what he said. He's like, yeah, I did stab her. I punched her, beat her up, threw water all over her, all that kind of stuff. Put a blanket on her because I thought that she was cold. Not, I'll take her out of this storage tote. It's supposed to be your girlfriend, too. That's just horrible. Like, whatever relationship goals y'all had, I'm sure that wasn't it.
No, like, were you giving her drugs and stuff like that?
Why would I give her my drugs? Why would I do that?
I didn't know that. All right. So at any point was she asking to leave, different things like that?
She has nowhere to go.
Okay.
She has nowhere to go. All she was just asking was why. Stop, I won't do it again. I'll never tell, Blas, please, I'll never tell. I know I deserve this, but I'll never tell. Like, that's the code in the streets. That's what I'm saying. I got 4 beautiful kids.
Okay. So
he's got 4 beautiful kids, is what he just said. I'm over these Negroids, man. Nobody cares. No, actually, I don't ever want you to see your kids again. I don't even know what your situation is, but you are not the type of person that we want raising another generation. He's got 4 of them. So he quadrupled the goofery and buffoonery. I don't know. Maybe the kids ended up with their mother. Maybe their mother's a good person. I don't know. But I'll be honest, most of the people that mess with guys like this, they're along the same lines. They ain't right either. So... But anyway, we'll let him finish up.
When the traffic stop occurs and she goes on her way, was there anybody that ever said, like, besides, like, if she was doing anything that, like, yeah, she told me that?
No, I thought it was somebody else until I did my homework.
Okay. So this is all you transpiring, doing everything, doing all your own stuff in your head and, like, hey.
Listen to the detectives as we all got out the car. The detectives like, you can go. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. You ain't even searched. It's credit about $20 worth of dope in the car at scale, and you didn't even get searched.
Yeah.
No, get your bag. You're forgetting your bag.
They're helping her out.
Don't forget your bag. Go ahead, go. Thank you.
Delonte mocks police and then tries to cut a deal to dodge the charges.
For real, I like this. I see it on TV. I'm excited. I'm so slick. I'm slicker than deer shit. Y'all, man, I almost got away. Y'all motherfuckers. Them cops horrible, boy. I'm slick, boy. I ain't even trying to brag nor boast. Not trying to brag nor boast, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna help y'all out.
You're not slick, sir. That's why you're sitting in there being interviewed by detectives and showing up on Purge the BS. Like, you're not slick, bro. Sorry.
Flat out, but I can't be.
Absolute nuts.
I get keys and guns. You don't see it in my phone. I know everybody big. I just want to help. I know I'm in trouble right now. Which this can get handled after I make those busts for y'all. You know what I'm saying? The judge will understand that. She should understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? All right. Done with this guy. So basically, he did this to this woman because he thought she was snitching, but he's willing to start snitching to get out of the charge. So apparently the code of the streets don't really mean that much to him because he's willing to give up all of these big name dope and gun dealers that he's talking about for, I guess, some leniency on his own charge. So it's just, like I said, we keep creating this dude. He's not just born of the dirt. He's coming out of someone, and he was raised by someone. He probably went to someone's school, and his life took him to having a dope house, paralyzed girlfriend that he stabs up and puts in a tote. And then instead of going down for that, he's trying to take out officers, or not officers, but other dealers for leniency on the sentence. So I can't even respect this dude at all. What I'm saying is, let's stop making this guy, whoever's responsible for this. This is somebody's son. This is somebody's child at some point, somebody's grandchild. We got to stop making this dude because he thought he could really do what he did. That's why he did it. He thought it was no problem putting this woman in a tote because he thought she was snitching. That was his whole train of thought. And he just kept beating her up for a couple of days to the point where the neighbors had to call and have the police come over there because they knew something was going on. And then he made the dumbass mistake of showing somebody some pictures of this person as if that person wasn't going to tell. The sheer stupidity that seems to keep revolving around the Negroids. And when I say Negroids, I need y'all to understand, I'm not talking about black people. Negroids are a different breed. It's like when they do stuff, you can't understand it because their brain is like, it's like a symbiotic kind of thing. It's almost like a cyborg, like a machine, like a Terminator. They don't make sense. They think they make sense, but the Negroids don't make sense. Yeah, well, what was I supposed to do? She was going to tell. That's what he's saying. This is absolute lunacy, man. This is absolute lunacy. And this is a person's child. So, guys, whoever you are, wherever you are, I don't know what city or state this was. I might not have picked it. I'm sure I could if I went back through the video. I would have figured it out through context clues. But wherever this guy is at, let's stop doing this, folks. Can we please stop making this guy? He didn't care nothing about that lady. He threw her away like trash. Fortunately, she lived through the event. And that's a good thing. But that's crazy. She's going to be traumatized for life. She's probably not going to like black people anymore. I wouldn't either if this person stuffed me in a tote. I'll be like, you know what? Last time I seen one of y'all, I got stuffed in a tote. So I don't like y'all no more. But you must understand the Negroid is different. Okay? It's not just a black American. Nope. A black American is a person with melanin in their skin who was the descendant of black people and born here. That's it. That's all it takes to be a black American, right? But a Negroid takes some work. You got to do some pretty heinous type of stuff that's just not imaginable in a rational mind. And that's where the Negroid comes from. It's like a robot. It doesn't make sense to the rational mind because it's doing things that only a goofy-ass robot would do. And that's all it is with this one. So I'm through with this guy. I'm done. Al Bond in the chat, you definitely make a good point. We should have to go through some preliminary licensing before having kids. I'm just being real. I think that would be a great idea. Like you had to take almost like a civics exam to get children. Like you got to understand, like, okay, when you see your kids do X, Y, Z, like a multiple choice test.
about some parenting situations. Like if you see your child reaching for an outlet, what do? Do you A, let them learn the lesson of electricity? Do you B, smack their hand away from it? Or C, act like you don't even see it and just walk in another room and let Darwin have his way? Maybe we should have those kind of tests. I don't know. I think it would be a good idea. So let's see what we got here, man. Because the Negroids are taking over. I hope y'all are looking out for them, because these guys are dangerous. They will put you in a tote and then justify, well, I couldn't let you go back on the street. What was I supposed to do? The hell is wrong with people, man? All right. Yeah, the stream, I told you, so for anybody that's in this chat and anybody that ended up on any of the other streams, there was 3 different streams that went out. I don't know what happened when I turned on my streaming software. It did an update, and then when I tried to do my normal process, it started streaming multiple outputs, which is supposed to be the update. But I already had a plug-in for multiple outputs, so it just went bananas. Okay, so it went and did 3 different YouTube feeds at the same time. 2 vertical, 1 was horizontal. I don't know what's going on right now, but I do know that I got a few of y'all in here, and if you are new to this channel, make sure that you like and subscribe. Do it. All right? Do it. So anyway, let's get to what some of y'all came here for. All right? Oh, no, I got one more. I'm sorry. One more than we do Diddy, okay? Pause. One more than we do Diddy. So this one apparently, where'd this come from? This is on X. Let's see what X is. You see, you got to be careful with the X clips, because X is way more lenient on like what's acceptable. So something that can post on X may not work on YouTube. But this one, like I said, now this one we're going to change from the Negroids to the Caranoids, okay? You don't know what a Caranoid is. It's similar to a Negroid, but it does not have the same pigmentation. But it does goofy stuff with stupid rationality, like stupid rationing, or rationalizing, that's the word. They're rationalizing things for stupid ass reasons. Like the one guy, I had to put this woman in a tote because I didn't want her to leave the house. She was paralyzed, by the way. I don't know how she was just leaving, but I didn't want her to leave the house, go on the street and snitch. That was his rationale for why he should be able to stuff somebody in a tote. Okay, all right. So this next one, like I said, is a Caranoid. Okay, this Caranoid decided that she didn't want to let a pizza delivery guy in the building. And the reason why, y'all ain't gonna believe it. All right, check this out. This is absolute lunacy. Let's see what we got here. All right. Now make it big without y'all losing the picture. Okay, this looks good. Yeah, this is good. All right, so this is a pizza delivery guy. I don't know his name. I could be racist and call him Ahmed. We'll call him Ahmed. So Ahmed shows up and he's delivering a pizza. Okay? And then a Caranoid happens to bend the corner and all hell breaks loose.
I have your food here. Should I come up? What's the deal?
Hello, excuse me.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's someone's food. I'm just delivering food for someone.
That's absolutely not. Do you know what this apartment is?
I mean,
it's very prestigious. We do not have that sort of food in this apartment.
But someone ordered it. I'm talking to them right now. They just someone ordered it.
Absolutely not. No, they didn't. They wouldn't order it.
Her reason is because it's a prestigious building and nobody should be ordering pizza at this prestigious building. It's so high class that pizza can't be ordered here. This is her rationale. This is where she's coming from. That's what I'm saying. The mindset is like, well, why would you think that? Like, who are you, Miss Caranoid? But it sounds from her accent, they may be in another country, I'm not sure. Hopefully this isn't around here, but it does happen. So let's finish it up.
But if they did, I don't know. I mean, is that organic?
I can show it to you. See, they ordered. That's their address.
No, they're going to cancel that then. because we're not.
But they haven't.
No, they're going to.
I was just talking to them.
It's not going.
And while you just interrupted.
That is not going into my apartment. We pay very good money.
Ma'am, I don't know about who lives there, who's not. Someone has ordered it. It's my job to give it. I think I'll be going in.
They will. No, I'm going to go to the.
As soon as they open the door, I'll be in. I'm just waiting for them.
You're not. No, I'm sorry. No,
ma'am.
This is. No,
ma'am, this is
absolutely not. This is absolutely.
Ma'am, no.
It's not organic.
Ma'am, this.
The food is not needing.
Ma'am, someone has ordered it. I'm going to get in trouble.
No, the food is.
I'm getting bad rating, ma'am. Are you going to pay for it now? Because someone already paid for it.
No, it's gone now.
Are you going to pay for it?
It's gone now. I will.
It's not coming off my paycheck. You have to pay for it now. You know that, right?
No, absolutely not. They're not coming in.
They just saw what you did. You have to pay them now for that.
No,
they already paid for it.
No, because I will be having words with them about this sort of thing.
I don't get. I'm gonna get.
Yo, I swear right now, if anybody ever came to my door talking about, did you order a pizza here? And I'm like, yeah, the guy was just downstairs. He's supposed to be coming up. Why are you at my door? Well, we can't have pizza in this building. This is a high-level, prestigious building, and we cannot have pizza delivered here. Like, that's literally what this woman is saying. She's talking about, I'm going to go have a word with them. What do you mean? What word are you going to have? Other than STFU, there's nothing to be said.
Bad rating. I have other deliveries to do. You just threw it there.
Yes.
You just made your prestigious building dirty.
No, it's trash.
What do you mean it's trash? They paid for it. If they want to eat it,
they want
it's
to
there.
pay for trash. No, it's not coming in our building. That smell will be in the.
But you have to talk to them. They live here. I don't. It's just my job to deliver.
I can smell someone else now. No. What are you doing?
I have to deliver this now.
No.
Yo, that's absolute lunacy once again. So, y'all see it. Y'all see what happened. And I don't know who to blame for this. Entitlement, I don't know. But this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But it's real, and that's the problem. So, can we stop making these folks? I don't know who's responsible for this lady. Like I said, I don't know if she's got a husband or what. Somebody needs to tell her, yo, stay the hell out of people's business and let people eat pizza. This is not, pizza's not outlawed anywhere. She talking about she don't want the smell in there. What is a vegan building or something? Like, is the building vegan? So if you smell pork or something, it's like against the HOA rules or some shit? I don't know. But it's stupid. She's stupid. The whole situation is stupid. I hope this woman gets arrested for assault and destruction of property. Let's try that, because she does destroy the pizza. I don't know if I would want to deliver the pizza after it's been thrown out into the grass like that. And I'm pretty sure if you brought it to me and it had a little grass in it, I'd be a little upset. And I'd make you take it back anyway. So, yeah, she's pretty nuts. I am Z, Grush Diva. I see y'all in the chat. Al Bond made his way over here. Sorry about the triple streams that was happening. It went crazy. But now at least I know I can do a whole bunch of YouTube feeds at the same time. That's nuts. They better not let me do that. I have 5 different channels going at the same time, which is not a bad idea. So we're going to get to that. All right, so let's get you to our main story, because I only had a little bit of time left, and we're going to talk about it real quick, and then we're going to get up out of here. All right? Y'all ready? Let's get it going. All right, let's see what we got here. So, I'm in the wrong thing. I'm in this. I need to be in this. Thought I needed to be in this. No, I need to be in this. This one right here. Okay, give me a second here. Y'all just bear with me. All right, guys. So let's get into this. Wow. So, as you guys may know, one Puffy of Daddy has just been, he's just starting his court case. And they're doing jury selection now. Now, what you may not know about jury selection is the intent is to try to find people who are not biased by existing media and stuff like that. And I'm gonna be honest, you got a long way to go if you think you are gonna get an impartial jury for a Diddy trial. That thing was all over TV. Like, you would have had to never watch TV, not listen to music, not watched any type of like videos. He starred on shows. You couldn't have watched no award shows, BET, none of that, if you were supposed to be non-biased about how you feel about Diddy. So we're gonna let them run. We're gonna let them run their little thing here. And there's been some really interesting developments already. They've already had to refuse at least, I want to say 5 or 6 people already. So let's see what they got to say. This is PBS. Now, PBS, remember, they just got defunded by the federal government for not being, for being biased in their coverage. So let's see if they made any changes in this one. I haven't seen a PBS thing in here today. So let's check this out.
It's time to look at our home in a whole new way.
Yeah, all right. So now that this PBS want to show it, they say I was trying to be nice to PBS. But the real PBS is right here. Purge the bullshit. Make sure that you like and subscribe, okay? Because if you haven't done that, then that's just wrong. You guys are wrong for that. Don't do that. Sorry, I made myself laugh. Sometimes that happens. All right, so let's see what they're talking about.
Kerger, president and CEO of PBS. For 22 years
in
a row, Americans
Paula?
have named PBS member stations the most trusted institutions in our country. It's a responsibility we take seriously.
All right, she's talking about the money they just lost. That's what this, I hate this, man. I should have just recorded this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. If I record it and then just play it as a video, it doesn't have any ads in it. But because I wanted to be nice and bring it up on their actual site, they wanted to advertise to us.
Sean Diddy Combs started today in New York City. The rapper and producer faces multiple charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Prosecutors allege Combs was the mastermind behind a years-long operation to sexually abuse women. He denies any wrongdoing and rejected a plea deal that could have resulted in a lighter sentence.
Diddy going
He faces
great.
life in prison if convicted. We're joined now by Gina Barton, investigative reporter for USA Today. Thanks for being with us, Gina. So jury selection started today. What are you hearing from your colleagues in the courtroom about how hard it's going to be to find people to serve on this case?
The judge has estimated that it'll only take 3 days to pick a jury, but from how slowly things are going, it may take longer. They're interviewing each juror separately and individually. They have 150 people that they called in. One of them, they spoke to a single person for about 25 minutes. So
Y'all think y'all could be non-biased in the as a juror in the Diddy trial? I don't know if I would be the best juror for it, because I did hear that they were going to have Cassie as part of like the charges. She's listed as victim 1 in the documents. So that means that there's some charges connected to her. So that means they're going to have to show that video again. And if you saw that video, the Cassie with Diddy video, it's very hard to not be like, well, he did that. I don't know what else he did, but hey, that wasn't right. And he did it. So if you don't like watching a man beat up a woman, that would definitely put you in a certain space mentally where you would have a bias about Diddy. So the thought that there would be a non-biased jury when it comes to Diddy, and the jury selection has to be accepted by both prosecutor and defense. And what happens if you can't find a jury? Then they put in what's known as a change of venue, and then they try to find another jury. So that you end up getting tried like out in bubble sticks in Kansas somewhere where nobody has TV and internet, and that's what they end up having to do in order to find a non-biased jury. But if they can't find a non-biased jury, you know what that's called? You know what happens? Mistrial. You don't even get a trial. You get a mistrial. So, I don't know. Feel like we might be heading that way, though.
It could take quite a while to find 12 jurors and some alternates.
And the complication is that there are very few people who don't know who he is, or at least know something about this case.
There are so many people who know about the case, who are familiar with Sean Puffy Combs, who have seen the video of him allegedly attacking his former girlfriend,
Told you.
Cassie, in a
Can't get
hotel
past that one.
hallway. And they're also asking jurors if they have ever been sexually assaulted or know anyone close to them who has been sexually assaulted, because they want jurors who are going to be objective and not have any thoughts about victimization coming in. And as you know, about 25% of women have had some sort of experience with sexual assault or sexual harassment. So that's another challenge.
His 17-page indictment, as I understand it, has been updated 3 times since September. What federal charges is he facing as of now?
As of now, he's facing 5 different charges. There is RICO, which is racketeering. There's sex trafficking, and then also bringing women across state lines for sex trafficking and for sexual exploitation and victimization. So there are a couple of different charges under each of those umbrellas.
Right.
The important thing to point out is that the RICO charge, or the racketeering charge, also includes all sorts of other alleged conduct, arson, kidnapping, a whole bunch of other acts that could be considered crimes if he's found guilty.
And who are the witnesses we're expecting the government to bring?
I think for sure we're going to see at least 2 women who are charging that Combs sexually assaulted them. One of them would be his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who
Told you Cassie was, I knew it. I knew it. Cassie was going to be victim number 1. But that video didn't show, it showed a physical assault. It didn't necessarily show a sexual assault. So I don't know, man. I don't like where this is going. I feel like they're going to put too much into it the wrong way and end up messing up the charges. And he's just going to end up getting like a mistrial or something like that. If you go too high on the charges where you need unanimous decision, and there's that one guy that holds out. You ever seen the movie 12 Angry Men? If you're a movie person like me, literally, one person can mess the whole thing up. So you can get 11 people thinking one thing, and there could be one guy that's like, nah. And if you can't get that person to either come with the 11 or get the 11 to go with the 1, then eventually what happens? Mistrial. So let's keep going.
We have talked about as seen in that video. Another one we believe is Dawn Richard, who was on one of the seasons or a couple of the seasons of Making the Band on MTV. And she was in a group called Danity Kane and also a trio called Diddy, Dirty Money. She filed a pretty extensive civil suit against him. And from what I'm reading in the criminal court documents, she's very likely to be a witness. There are going to be 2 other victims testifying. We don't know their names yet, but I would assume that they are probably also going to be alleging some sort of sexual assault or abuse.
And just last week, Sean Combs rejected a plea deal. He says he's innocent. What are we expecting the gist of the defense strategy to be?
From what we've been able to find out in reading through the court records and going to some of the hearings, I think the only defense that he will be able to present is consent, because he's got.
I'm pretty sure Cassie didn't consent to him tripping over her, as it was so eloquently stated in the chat. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to they're not going to say it. But you got to get a bunch of people. It's some pretty hefty charges there. So if it's a trial by jury, trial by judge is different. Trial by judge, it's just the judge, and the judge makes the decision. But if you got 12 people in the jury of your peers, and if it takes all 12 of them to make the conviction, I don't think they're going to get a conviction. I'm going to be honest with you. There's going to be one person that be like, I don't know. They'll show them all types of evidence. They'll show them all types of this. All you got to do is pay that one person to be a stalemate, and eventually he'll get a mistrial. So we're going to see if that holds to be true, but that's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to get a hung jury and a mistrial. Pause on the hung jury. But you understand what I'm saying.
Got these women saying the sexual encounters happened. They seized lots of video evidence from his homes. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these incidents are on video. And so all the experts I've talked to in the past week have said that his defense is likely going to be consent. And then one of my colleagues who was in court for a hearing last week heard them talking about swingers. So it sounds like the defense might say that Sean Puffy Combs was involved
Oh,
in
he's a
kind of
swinger.
an alternative fringe
Yep.
sexual
There you go.
lifestyle with his girlfriends, trading partners, but that it was all consensual.
Gina Barton, investigative reporter for USA Today. Gina,
All right, well, Gina Barton said her little piece here. But let's just run through it. So the jury selection began. A couple of noted things is they showed the jurors pictures of people and asked them if they recognized them. And some of these people were known folks, like I believe Michael B. Jordan was one of them. They asked these jurors questions regarding the Epstein trial and how they felt about that. But one of the main things is when they were mentioning the like the celebrities, right? The only reason they would mention the celebrities specifically by name, like Michael B. Jordan and others, is literally because they're going to show up somewhere in the trial. They're going to show up somewhere in a video, at a freak off or whatever. I would hate to say that Michael B. Jordan is going to show up in a freak off video, but I'm sure some of y'all ladies would like that. Little nasty selves would be like, oh, Michael B. Jordan in one of them freak off videos? Okay, all right, well, let me see it. Let me see it. So there's that piece, but like I said, we start here. Now, what they haven't mentioned is any male victims. They haven't mentioned any, now, if they're mentioning Michael B. Jordan as the possibility of being in a film, is it going to be Michael B. Jordan being like sodomized, or is he going to be involved in something, or you know what I'm saying? So they're basically setting people up to say, do you know these people? Because you might see them again, and if you have a bad opinion of Michael B. Jordan, like let's say you didn't like Sinners, the movie that just came out, which I did see, it was pretty good, and let's say you don't like the movie, you don't like Michael B. Jordan, so you might not be able to be impartial. So you see how this keeps going back to that partiality, the bias, objectivity, that kind of stuff. It's not going to happen, guys. So I think he'll get probation. If that. If you can get 12 people to say put Diddy in jail for 25 years over what may or may not have been consensual stuff. Because here's the thing. If you tell a person that, hey, if you give me some cooch, I'll make you famous, that doesn't take away consent. Now, it is coercion. Coercion is different than consent. Coercion means you kind of make a deal that they can't refuse, kind of thing, right? But is that trafficking? I don't know. I don't think so. You might hate Diddy, but I know law, and how law works is it don't matter who it is, or it's supposed to not matter who it is. So if he can make it seem just that, so how many times did you guys do this? And they say, oh, we did this 7 times over the course of 2 years. How can you say it was non-consensual? You see what I'm saying? So that's not gonna work. It's not going to work. And if he comes in there to talk about, yeah, I'm a swinger, I be doing it to dudes and women and whoever's around, and we was slapping baby oil on each other, we were all having a good time, like that's really what I think is going to happen. I think he's literally just going to kind of spin the whole thing, and nobody will be able to make a unanimous decision on it, and you'll get a mistrial. But I'm bringing it up because I want y'all to understand that even if he gets off of this, pause, but even if he does not have to face jail time at the end of it, are y'all gonna put him back up as like the mogul of black music? I'm not. What I saw him do on that film with Cassie was disgusting. I don't want to see any more videos of him doing disgusting stuff. That was disgusting. I'm hoping that they don't have multiple videos of him doing that, but in order to prove their case, they're going to need to have that. They're going to need to have so much evidence that there's no way that a jury would find anything different than guilty. Because if not, he's going to go. He's going to go. He's got money. He's got influence. He's got powerful friends. He got a lot going on. A lot. And he's already been known for jury tampering or witness tampering for that other case he had. He obviously did the situation with Cassie. We know that he was known for being a little weird and having people do stuff that didn't make sense. That's why the whole Making the Band parody that was on the Chappelle Show was so funny, is because that was really how he was. Yo, go get me a Cambodian breast milk from a real Cambodian, like that kind of stuff. Like, the guy's a little weird, but we've seen this enough times. Now, what they want to do, if you want to get Diddy, I hate to say it, if you want to get Diddy, Cassie and the Danity Kane girl, the Dawn, are not where you're gonna lay your plant your flag. You need Bieber. You get Justin Bieber in there saying that something happened, you got it. People used to love Justin Bieber, man. I used to like Justin Bieber. I mean, I wasn't like playing his music or nothing, but I thought he was a talented kid. And if he comes in there and says, hey, Diddy messed me up with the stuff that he did to me, I feel like they might be able to do exactly what I'm saying they won't be able to do, which is find him unanimously guilty for some crime. But he said he's a swinger. So he's not debating whether or not he was having sex with all types of people. And you know what a swinger is. Swingers swing all types of ways. Sometimes you swing to the other side of the fence, if that makes sense. You pushing up in Meek Mill, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, get Meek Mill on the stand. That's what you're going to need. You're going to need some really, really powerful people to turn on him. A random Instagram chick that took a trip, they're going to be able to say, well, you know what did he do? Like, why'd you go out there? You know? And it's not going to hold water, because it's a debate of, did the person know what was going to happen when they got there, or was it something that was presented to them when they got there and then they were unable to leave? But if they had the option of leaving, then it becomes consensual by default. If no doors were locked and you were not trapped in a place, you were not tied down, and you say, well, he has so much influence, well, you still could have left. And that's what his defense lawyer is going to say. Hey, we didn't trap nobody. They came over there of their own free will. We didn't force them to do nothing. Nobody got tied down. Everybody readily took these dildos into their body and allowed the baby oil to be all over them. And if that's what it is, then they're going to have to come with something else. The SA charges, I don't think, going to work. I don't think it's going to work. The best you can get is trying to catch him on the arson of Kid Cudi's car or any of that witness tampering kind of stuff. You might be able to get that, because those charges, they're not lower, but they're like easier to prove. It's very tough to prove non-consensual situations, especially with guys like Diddy, because he had a bunch of money, and guys with a bunch of money, normally they get a lot of consensual sex because they have a lot of money. So it's a little harder to say, well, look, you know, you did this 7-8 times. Like, you were with this guy for 2 years. What do you mean he sexually assaulted you? You didn't say nothing. You got your money, but you didn't say nothing. So, yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. So, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, let me break it down to y'all. I want to know how y'all feel, but my bold prediction is it's going to be either a low charge or he's going to get a mistrial. That's my thought. How are you going to get a non-biased jury when it comes to Diddy? You'd have to get like some people who are like 80 years old and don't even know they got jury duty. They just think it's a trip for the old folks home. They're just going to the bingo joint or something, and they happen to be doing jury duty. You're not going to find a person, not in the United States, who has not seen that Cassie video. So if you are a person like me, I got daughters, right? I watch that video, I see my daughters, I can't be non-biased. But that's not what he's being charged with. He's not being charged for assault on Cassie in that video. But that video is still going to be shown as evidence. So that doesn't make sense to me. That's known as a PBA, prior bad act. So if it's a prior bad act, but it's not related to what is being stated, they can't even admit it in court. So we'll see if that even works. And don't ask me why I know so much about law. I thought I was going to be a lawyer at some point. Then I ended up with a criminal record, and they're like, yeah, you can't do that. But Judge, Mathis? He was locked up, but he was locked up as a juvenile. That's a lot of people didn't know that. Because I always wondered, when Judge Mathis was like, yeah, I was locked up, and then I made a comeback, and I used to love Judge Mathis. But yeah, he was locked up as a juvenile, not as an adult. So that's why he was able to become a judge. But anybody who's been locked up as an adult, no, you don't get to do that. So So we're gonna see. But yes, I do believe he had people bringing drugs to these parties, but people wanted to do drugs at the parties. Once again, he's not forcing it. So unless you tying the person down, now I heard about the whole IV thing, but that was also consensual. Like, he didn't tie nobody down and slam the IV in their arm. He was like, hey, you tired? I got something for you. And then they'd be like, what is he, man? I got some Pedialyte in an IV, basically is what he had. Gatorade. And it'll get your electrolytes going so you can get moist again or whatever you need to get to freak off with Diddy. And that's what he did. So let's be real here, folks. This is the U.S. legal system. People with money, people with influence do not face the same penalties as the rest of us. Unless they can get a jury to make that unanimous decision. They got to get some real good evidence. So I doubt that I will be unable to ever play a song that Puffy had something to do with. Like, I still like Biggie's music to this day. When Warning comes on, even though I hate his little voice in the back, who the hell is this paging me at 5:46 in the morning? Crack the dawn, now I'm yawning. Wipe the cold out my eye. See who's this paging me? And why? Come on, man. You think I'm going to ever stop playing that because of Diddy? It's a classic. I had a tough enough time with the R. Kelly thing, and I ain't going to lie, R. Kelly been doing concerts in jail, so he's all right. He'll be cool. Kelly cool. Kells is cool. And some of y'all playing his music on the low, so don't even act like you're not. But we're not going to do that to Diddy. We're going to hope that the legal system does whatever it has to do. But I will say this. If he makes it out of this, what he should do is get on a plane and get the hell out of America and just go live life wherever with whatever money he's got left and just go do that. Yep. Albon said it. He was in there talking about we can't stop, won't stop. He was hitting them with it. And they were letting them do it. I'm not going to lie. You show up at a freak off, you know it's a freak off. It's not Diddy. It's not just a white party. It's a freak off. So if you step foot into a freak off and people start freaking off, you're not going to be surprised. You'll be like, hey, that's what we're here for. So they're going to have a tough time proving that a bunch of people were tied down and sexually assaulted and all that. Maybe they just didn't use the safe word. Or maybe they just, they woke up the next morning feeling dirty. You ever done that? Like you do something the night before and the next morning you get up and you just feel dirty. Like, yo, did I do all that last night? Ugh. So that's probably what happened. But now everybody's coming out. But I do want y'all to keep an eye on the fact that they brought up a lot of these celebrities, meaning they're going to show up on these videos. And I don't know why Michael B. Jordan was a major one. They keep talking about Michael B. Jordan. So I don't know. I didn't know that Michael B. Jordan and Diddy were like they were cool. I'd never seen them together myself. So, but for whatever reason, his name was mentioned first. So let me bring it back to my full screen so I can get y'all up out of here. I want y'all to keep an eye on the Diddy trial, but don't get too like wrapped up in it because it's going to take a minute. It's going to take them months to find a jury. I'm telling you, they're going to go for a change of venue because they can't find a non-biased jury, and eventually they're going to have to ask for a mistrial. And if there's nobody that can make a good point that, hey, we can find a non-biased jury, he will get that mistrial. Sucks. But truth be told, he's been in jail the whole time, so he's spending a little bit of time there, but I don't think it's going to hold. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think it's going to hold. So let me bring it back over here. Anyway. All right, so I'm going to finish this one out here. So there's going to be some problems with this Diddy thing. I already know it. We've talked about it. The trial selection is not going to go well. The freak off videos are going to be, I hope they're not necessarily made public, but I believe that there's going to be some people on there. It'll be like the Epstein situation that we expected, but it's going to be Diddy. Because the only way to get him guilty is to have him on camera doing something. And if you have him on camera doing something, I feel like there's going to be other people on those camera shots. And those people might not want to be involved. They might not want to be, like, they even mentioned Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Like Kanye, who else they got in here? Kid Cudi, Michelle Williams of Destiny's Child, Kanye West, Dallas Austin, Lauren London, I don't know about that one, Lorianne Gibson, and Michael B. Jordan was another one. So those are just a couple of the names that they said would be indicated during the trial. I don't see Bieber's name in there, though. They need to somebody go check on Justin. He been acting real wild lately. And maybe he's got something to say. Maybe. But even the jurors were saying, yeah, we saw the video and that could be damning. So they're already saying to the defense lawyers, hey, we can't be impartial because we saw the video. We don't like this guy because we saw what he did to Cassie. That's how the jury is acting so far. And they were wondering if, you know, the first two people that said something about seeing that Cassie video were initially and immediately let go. So they're trying to find 15 people, because you need 12 people for the jury and a couple of alternates. So you need about 15 people who have not seen the Cassie video. Please tell me where the hell they're going to find 15 people that didn't see that video or see the CNN coverage of it or see every podcaster in the world, including this one. We went over that video. You can't tell me you're going to find a person like that. So what are you going to do? Mistrial. I know it sucks. But, you know, they're talking about the baby oil and all this stuff. Look, the baby oil thing is what it is. Like, all right, it's a little nasty, but it's not illegal to have a bunch of baby oil. It's just weird. Just like the Shannon Sharp thing, him messing with that young ass girl. It's not necessarily illegal. Just weird. You know, when you're 50-something messing with a 19, 20-year-old kid, that just, ugh. What do y'all talk about after sex? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the conversation like after the sex? I don't know. But they did say, and I know TMZ pulled it up, they said that the Diddy freak-off tapes are part of the indictment. So they're going to have to show people in that court Diddy basically putting things in people's bodies. And that's not necessarily, on the surface, illegal. It's just weird. So we're going to see how much weirdness they're able to come away from. But I'm going to tell you right now, it don't look good. For me and how I've seen a lot of these cases go, it don't look good. If you got people on tape, they know that they're being surveilled, especially if there's like a video of somebody videoing. So let's say like there's a camera in the room, but someone's in the room with like a phone recording. Then that means everybody who's in the room knows that they're being recorded. Even if they can't see the hidden camera, they can see the person with the phone. So that wouldn't be illegal to be filming them. And to a degree, they would be consenting to being filmed. If you're standing next to a person with a cell phone and they're filming you, you're kind of like, all right, well, I got my thing out and this person has a cell phone. There's a chance that my thing got recorded. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see, but I just want y'all to remain impartial as best as you can. And if anybody you know, we can't talk to jurors while they're in the case, but when this is all said and done, I would love to be able to interview any of those jurors. That would be freaking awesome. Okay? So if y'all running any of them, if you're in New York and you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, you make sure you put them on to me, and I would love to hear their story after the fact. But I'm calling mistrial. I'm calling change of venue. At least change of venue first. Because he's in New York. Who in New York doesn't know who Diddy is? Like, come on, man. That's a waste of time. You're not going to find no impartial people in New York. You got to go to South Dakota, in the corner of South Dakota where the 4 states meet as the square. You got to go right in that area. Maybe you'll find somebody that's out in the middle of nowhere. But I would venture to say that those people won't want to do jury duty for anything in New York anyway, or anything coming from New York anyway. So I'm calling it, man. It's not going to go nowhere. He might get some little charges and probation and maybe have to pay some type of money to some people and, you know, but other than that, I don't see this going nowhere. I'm really thinking about it. They're going to show some tapes. All right, that's great. They're just going to try to make him out to be a villain. But if there's other people on the tapes, is everybody going to be charged? Like, was he just the only person penetrating? I doubt it. Especially not if Michael B. Jordan and them was there. Kanye West, Kanye crazy. You know Kanye was probably running around in there with his black KKK thing on, using the little, the point at the top to like put in people's rears. I'm trying to keep it clean because it's the daytime show. But y'all know what I'm saying. So nonetheless, you guys stay vigilant, stay right, pay attention. Don't let them get you on the other side. That's why I covered it today, because what I'm not going to do is be covering it every single day. I'm going to start here. Once they select a jury or decide on a change of venue, I'll touch on it again. And then sometime after, when they're actually doing the case, I might touch on it one more time. But that's about it, because I'm not going to be following this case, because I already see where it's going. He said Kanye probably got sent home. Kanye was wilding out. He was like, I'm Jesus. Worship me. You know what I'm saying? Kanye is crazy. So anyway, guys, I'm going to give my shouts. I'm going to get up out of here. A special shout to my mod squad, Sheriff Al Bond in the chat. Thank you for holding it down for me every episode, man. I appreciate it. IMZ stopping in the chat. Thank you for stopping through. Oh, I see Random Pipe Layer was in here for a hot second. Stops through every once in a while he's taking a pause from pipe laying. Now, that could be an actual job. It could be an actual job. He could actually be a plumber. I don't know. This is YouTube people. So you look at their names, you try to decide. Let's see what else we got. We got, hold on. Who else we got in the thing? Oh, I'm not giving you all the gong. Sorry. Al, I forgot your gong. There you go. That one's for you. IMZ, you get the gong for you. Grush Diva, thank you for stopping through as well. Rhiannon Large, thank you for coming by. Who else we got? Rhiannon Large was real active in that chat. Thank you for all of the comments. I appreciate that. Dovak Ironfire, you stopped through here. Scott Norris was in the building. Brandon W was in the building. Purple Groovy, of course. Another one of the mod squad was in the building. So thank you guys for being who you are. Don't let nobody change that, because if they change who you are, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. All right, y'all, let's get out of here. I'm done.